So first of all, my name is Shaggy Lowinger Rosenfeld. I'm a filmmaker and journalist, and I want to tell you that for me, this was one of the most important films in the festival. I'm taking this very personal, and I love this storyteller and his story that tell us so much about our reality, about our conflicts in Israel and around. I'll ask a few questions, and then you are welcome to ask him. Say, how are you?
Oh, fine, thank you.
First of all, I want to ask you, how did the filmmaker found you? How did you find each other?
He wanted to make a movie about my father. It was years ago, and then he came to interview me, and gave me a call, and he asked if he could interview me. I said sure. He came to our home. He sat for about an hour. We talked, and I thought that was it. And then he gave me a call a few weeks later, and he goes, "You know what? I don't want to make a movie about your father. I want to make a movie about you." For me, it's more interesting. And I said, I thought it was going to be like a 2 or 3 hour interview, and that was it. It's like a year and a half. That's it.
And until then, until you met him, you were finding yourself telling a lot of people about your story, or it was just your personal thing?
People who asked me, people who were curious why sometimes we're in the restaurant, me and my wife, and she speaks to me in Arabic and I speak to her in Hebrew. Sometimes ask, how come? And so I would tell my story, but I wouldn't like go around telling people left and right. Whoever asked me, because I got nothing to hide, there's nothing wrong with it, and someone has to fall in the middle. That would be.
You were so honest towards the film, and I gave your heart, put it on the table. That's what I felt, and I think what your story is so interesting, and what makes the film so interesting, is not only what happened to you, which is kind of very, in some way, tragic life until now with your lovely wife, but
she's right here.
But, hey, I don't see her, but we want to see her for a minute. Can we just?
She'll be back. Okay.
All right. I want to talk to her after that, but I think it's your attitude, actually, which is the main character of the movie, because different people could take this life story in different ways, like your sister did, like your mother did, but I feel like from this all chaotic life, you are the only reason, you are the only sane in this world, and there are so many difficult people around you in so many ways.
I'm going to interrupt you and tell you, if you're the only sane person in the world full of insane people, well, then you're insane. You're the one who's sane. Like you said, it was tragic, but for me, I don't think it's tragic because if this didn't happen to me, if I wasn't born in the world between two different cultures, two different religions, I wouldn't have opened my eyes. I would have chosen a fight. I'm actually glad that it happened. It could be tragic, maybe it's hard at the beginning, but when you get older, you realize, this is good. I'm happy the way I am, and I'm glad this happened to me. I'm glad that I fell in the middle. This way, I could see both sides, and I could see how, how wrong both sides are.
I totally agree, and that's why I think the film in the end is so optimistic, because after all what you had to go through, and including the depression and this difficult life in general, you develop with your story, and you find a good way to look at it, and a new way to look at the world and at life, which could never be happened without it. I want you guys to start asking questions yourself. Who has a question, please?
Shalom.
Do you think there's any hope for a peace process? And with your unique perspective, do you think you could play a part in it?
Whether you think there's hope, if you believe that there's hope, then there is hope. We all know this, we make things happen. If we believe that, if we believe that there's no hope, then there is no hope. And if we believe that there is hope, then there is hope. Whether you think you're right or wrong, you're right. Right or wrong, you're right. I think you know what I mean. Because we make things happen. We want peace, there will be peace. And I'd love to play a part in it. If I could just, people always say, oh, I'd like to change one person's mind. Well, that's not enough. You have to change a lot of people. And everyone has to go and talk to everyone. And you have to be brave, Even when there's a crisis and everyone's like, the Arabs did this, well, then you should say, well, the Jews did this. And when someone says the Jews did this, you should say, well, the Arabs did this. And you can always just, blame each other. Oh, you did this and I did this. It's like, what? It's not kindergarten anymore. Let's get over it. Let's move forward. We have bigger problems than the Jews and the Arabs and the Middle East. The world we're coming into an age where these little problems are really going to seem insignificant compared to the problems that we're going to face tomorrow. So we should just dump the luggage that we've been carrying for thousands of years and just move forward. And that's what I think, we should pass on to other people. It's time to really move forward.
What have you told your children?
Well, I teach them to think critically. That's the only thing I can do. I'm not going to tell them what to think.
I meant about your personal history.
Well, I didn't have to tell them. They grew up in a house, and, we always talked about different things all the time. My mom would come and visit. We go to Gaza, and, so they grew up. I didn't have to tell them anything. They grew up.
Do you think that your movie will be accepted and will be watched by Arab audience and has been shown in Arab audience and Muslim audience?
It's been shown in Akko, the theater here. We have a small theater in Akko, and mostly Arab. They accepted the movie. Some of them got different messages. Some of them came to see the movie because of my father, but I think few people got the real message, which is, there is no Arabs and Jews. God didn't choose people. And if you really think about it, it's all bullshit, We've been brainwashed to hate one another. We shouldn't, we should get up and, change our minds on it. So a few people, they spoke to me and they thought whether it's going to be accepted in other places or not, I really don't know, but they have to see it, whether they like it or not.
Good morning.
Morning.
I almost wanted to say it Arabic, but suddenly I have a blackout. Sabah al khair. I was wondering why you told the story about your mom that she didn't wanted to talk with you when she heard that you are going to marry an Arab woman. And actually, she did the same. She married the Arab man. So, did you get a chance to talk with him about it?
We spoke about it, and she told me, you're going to have a hard life. it's not easy. And she's right, because we live in a community where, it's not really accepted, but we don't really have, it's my life, and no one's going to decide whether I'm going to marry. You know what? If my wife was Buddhist or atheist or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I would have married her. It's not. I didn't marry her because she was Arabic. I married her because I loved her. And it didn't, I didn't even look at that, the thing that she was Arabic. It just happened to be, she happened to be Arabic. So I spoke to my mom, and she said they're going to have a hard time. And yes, there's a lot of people here who are married, the Jews and Arabs get married together. It's not an uncommon thing. And there's a lot of problems. They're just problems, but it's not there who make the problems. It's the community that we live in, But I'm not exactly like my mom. Different person.
I think one of the most amazing things that you among everybody all found this amazing woman that thinks like you, right? And it thinks the same way, not in a stereotype way.
She didn't always think like me. I brainwashed her.
Really? You brainwashed her?
She's right here. I'll let her talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
בוקר טוב, עדי.
אז רק לדבר בעברית.
But we need to, okay, so maybe I'll translate. You speak Hebrew and I'll translate to you. Okay, אנחנו נדבר עברית ואני אתרגם, בסדר? כי הם מדברים אנגלית. איך החזקת כל כך הרבה שנים לחכות לו ולחכות לו? How could you wait so many years for him?
האמת שאלה מאוד קשה.
Hard question.
אבל אני יכולה להגיד אהבה מכל הלב.
She loved him with all her heart so many years and waited for him. And everything is good now? הכל בסדר עכשיו?
כן.
הוא לא בורח יותר? He's not running away anymore?
אני לא יודעת.
נשיקה ברגע. Kiss on the back. I want to לשאול אותך, את שותפה לרעיונות שלו כל כך גדולים לגבי שיתוף, לגבי לא אנטי דת, אבל ללכת עם האמפתיה וללכת עם הביחד.
כן, בוודאי, ואני דווקא הייתה שיחה אתמול עם חברים ודיברנו על זה. יש הרבה דברים שהתרחשו בחיי, שאני הכרתי את מינר וחתמתי איתו, כל המהלך הזה של 17-18 שנים קרו כל מיני דברים, היו דברים קשים, היו דברים גם מאוד 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 רגעים של אושר והבנה והכרה, ואין ספק שהוא הביא אותי למקום הזה שלבד הבנתי וכתב אותי למקומות אחרות במחשבה, פלוס שאנחנו גם, אני מצפה שאנחנו גם, ככל שאנחנו מתבגרים משתנים וצריך שינוי, והשינוי הוא מאוד הכרחי, צריך לתת למחשבות להשתולל ולחשוב בצורה ללא גבול, וככה אנחנו יכולים לאט לאט להביא את הדברים.
I was asking her, does she share his point of view about togetherness and empathy and not just go with your religion and fight for your patriotism? And she said, yes, slowly and slowly she learned more and more from him, and it actually changed her completely. And now they sing together how to influence and she said, you have to sing really extreme way and in a new way to make things happen. How do you feel in Akko with your relationship and with those ideas?
בצורה שטחית, יש כבוד מלא והכל, אבל אני גם מרגישה עבירה לפעמים מתי שאנחנו נכנסים במין של שיחה כזו על דת ועל עניין של לאום וכל מה שהבנתם מהסרט ולפעמים קורה שאנחנו שוחחים עם אנשים, אבל האמת יש חלק מהם שאני מרגישה עבירה מבוחר אחר ויש חלק שהוא מנסה להבין וחלק קטן מאוד שהוא מבין.
She said on the surface it feels fine, but under it's more complicated. She has conversation with people. She still feels stranger next to them. Some of them try to understand, and very little people, like a small amount of people, really understands and accept. More questions, please. It's our time now. Yes.
So I will speak in Hebrew too. כל הכבוד לכם. באמת כל הכבוד. השאלה שלי, איך אתם מגדלים את הילדים? מה הזהות שלהם? הם יהודים, הם ערבים, הם ישראלים, הם אנשי העולם, איך הם מסתדרים בבית ספר? ומה אתם מקווים שהחיים שלהם, איך החיים שלהם יראו?
Let me just translate this question. She was asking, how do they grow their kids as Jewish, as Arabs? Raise their kids, yeah. as citizens of the world, as Israelis, and what do they hope the kids will become?
אני אמרתי, לשמחתנו, שחוק הזה שהיה פעם לשים תעודת זהות, מה הלאום שלך, ערבי, יהודי, דרוזי, בדואי, מבוטל, קודם כל. ודבר שני, כמובן, כל ילד גודל בסביבה מסוימת, הוא סופק כל מיני דברים. הדבר הכי טוב זה לא להביא סרט, כאילו תשב ותדע ותלמד עד 2-3. אני רוצה שהילדים שלי יסתגרו את העבירה וילדים מאוד חכמים והם לומדים גם את האבא ואת האמא וזה רק בכל מיני סיטואציות שונות וכאן חייב לומד לאט. אני רוצה לספר לך שהאח גדול שהוא היום בכיתה י"א בן 17, ברגע שהוא אמר בכיתה שלו שימה זה דת וצריכה להתחת והשכלה חרם ואני לא אמרתי לו ללכת מזה, אבל הילד הבין מה שאני תמיד חושבים והדבר הכי חשוב לי הוא יבוא בהבנה עם עצמו. אולי אני אתן את הטיפים לא יותר. בקשר לבתי הספר, יש לנו כאן בתי ספר מתחלקים. את כל האמת אני חלסתי לעשות לבית ספר יהודי. אני גם מאמינה מהמקום קשה, אפשר ללמוד כל מיני דברים להתחדש אותה. אבל היה מאוד קשה להתלבט אותה. היה קשה להתלבט בבית ספרים.
Regarding the kids, so first of all, she's very happy that now in the Israeli ID, you don't have to write what identity you have as Jewish Arabs, so it stays clear and to interpretation. And regarding the kids, how they grow the kids, how they raise the kids, how they educate them, they don't tell them what to be. They just let them just feel what's going on in the house. Mimer's culture, Adin culture, and that's how they grow with the environment that they have naturally in the house. Regarding the schools, it's a little bit more complicated. They have Jewish schools in Akko, and they have Arab, and it's separate. And she wanted him actually to study in a Jewish school in high school, but he couldn't get in or like something. But they're open to all kinds of education, and it was very interesting for her. She mentioned that actually is that you learn in a culture that it's not hers, to learn, extend your knowledge and point of view.
I'd like to, you'll have to translate. But you seem, according to the movie, you seem to be a very patient and loving woman who is the center of her family. And I'd like to say bless you.
היא רוצה להגיד שאת אישה נהדרת ושאת עומדת מחזיקה את המשפחה שלך והיא רוצה לברך אותך. מאוד מעריכה אותך.
תודה רבה. תודה רבה. אני אתן לגבר לחזור למקום שלו. ביי ביי.
One more question in the audience, please.
אני יכול לשאול אותך בעברית.
Maybe.
אוקיי.
Let's do it in English.
אתה מעדיף אנגלית?
I don't mind because I just...
You're the citizen of the world.
Well, it's a question that would apply to both of you, but it's really a continuation of the discussion with your wife. When your child finishes high school, do you recommend him to, I'm not saying to go to Tzahal, but to Shirut Leumi, national service?
Yes, I would recommend him to do that. I'm against any army anywhere because it's always a long story why I'm against the army in the world, but national service, yeah. No, I don't mind. It's good for him. It'll do it some good. Teach him a lot of things. It'll give him a bit of experience, and I believe that every child should try something like that. Instead of wasting his time, I think. No, he should. But I can't force him to do this. I'm going to ask him if he wants to or not. I'm going to recommend him.
Yes, one last. Yeah, one last question regarding the relationship right now between your mother and the kids, your mother and your wife, the mother and the grandkids. Email?
Yes.
Did you hear me?
I heard you, I didn't get the question.
Oh, you didn't get the question. Okay, so we wanted to know for now what is the relationship between you and your mother, and what is the relationship between your mother and your wife and the kids?
Fine. I think it could be better, but look, on the 6th of October, my mom had a birthday. We all got into the car, me and the kids, and the wife and the dog, and went to visit my mom. And we went on a picnic, we ate together, and then we came back to Oslo. And it was fine, the relationship's fine. The problem is that my mom lives in a community of religious Jews, and when we went there, we speak Arabic because we didn't want the neighbor to start asking her questions, who are these people who come to see you, and things like that. So that's why we left the house. We went on the picnic, and then we did the screening. It bothered me a bit that I had to do this, but I have to respect my mom and her wishes. I don't think the neighbors have a place to tell her how to run her life, but what can I do? I can't do anything about that. I have to respect it. So, but I love my mom, And I love my dad, and I don't have a problem with him. And neither does my wife and my kids. And my kids don't see my mom as like a Jewish lady or an Arabic lady or whatever. They just see this is grandma, and that's it. They don't see her as much as they want to, but yeah, there's no problem there.
It's a great way, I think, to close this conversation with love and in the family and out. Thank you so much, Nimr. Really clear. And I think we're all going now to tell your story all over. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.